And we're live.
Hello, everybody.
That's us. What's going on, y'all? So, this is Dylan Talks Tone, our live stream every Thursday. It's Thursday. At 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we go over your questions that have come in through Patreon and YouTube members, and of course, you in the chat down there. You saw the thumbnail. You know that is my joke for mean people in the comments. But tonight, we're going to feature some folks who have asked some questions, even if they weren't really that nice about it. Because I want to welcome all the new viewers to the channel. We've had a bunch. And that's kind of my way of doing that. So, let's get going. And I would also like to point out right away that it would be really cool to get a screenshot of when we hit 66,666 subscribers, and we need 5 more. So if you have not seen this before, or if you have watched a bunch of my videos, 61% of you who are here, and have not hit the subscribe button, please do it very slowly and methodically so I don't miss the screenshot, but it would be great if you would subscribe. That would be awesome. Yeah. So it has been an eventful week around here at Dylan Talks Tone because we made some videos and a lot of people watched them. A lot of people. And usually what happens when we have kind of a hit or two, because it doesn't happen very often, but every few months we'll have a video that does really well. And as a result, there will be like a bump in new viewers, like new people will see this stuff, right? And so usually when that happens, we try to be pretty encouraging and positive around here. And so the new audiences who have come over from all of the mean guitar channel comment sections, they come in the comment section and they don't know that we're like all awesome folks and like hanging out and loving guitar stuff. And so it might take them a minute to get used to not being, douche canoes. So, they'll come around, and usually most people do. And so there's a few of those folks that are new to the channel, and I wanted to make sure that we got to their questions right away so they knew kind of how cool it was around here. You know what I mean? So we're going to do that. But I would like to first, Matt and Chris said that they were watching.
I see Texas Toast Guitars.
For a few minutes. So we're going to, I want to, even before we get to the Patreon stuff, I actually want to handle a couple of questions that came in this week over the YouTubes. And I'm just going to paraphrase these, mostly to censor out the bad words. There was a couple people that were like, well, of course you're going to say that it's better, because the thumbnail of that video was this guitar from Texas Toast Guitars is better than a Gibson. And then a bunch of people were like, yeah, well, you've never even seen it yet, and it's a prototype, and you think it's better than a Gibson? Well, there's two things. One is that is an iteration of a model that they already have, which is a fantastic guitar that I have played. That being said, I've only had a few minutes on a couple of their guitars, a few different ones, and so it's going to be kind of like a first time for me. So how can you say that you think this guitar is amazing and better than a Gibson? Here's why. Design. So I have been really kind of like nerding out about guitar engineering lately. You know, the PRS Silver Sky.
Lately?
Well, especially lately. The PRS Silver Sky really sent me down this whole rabbit hole of like, wait, the guitar that I've loved and my favorite guitar for, since 1954, I've loved it since then, could be improved upon and was improved upon. And so now I'm like, what other improvements can be made in various guitars. And then this whole Texas Toast thing came up with their Challenger, and that is my other favorite guitar. Like, the Gibson Les Paul Special Junior thing is my favoriteest guitar. That's why I have that one. In TV Yellow is my 100% favorite color of it. But Texas Toast has done some things that make the guitar better inherently than a Gibson. He was just speaking about it on his live stream, but he's talking about peg head angle, a one-piece neck, the way he glues his necks on, the way he makes his guitars is different, which he has a bunch of videos over on his channel that he talks about the process and the way they address. It's kind of cool. Like, I've seen all their tooling and stuff and like how they hold the wood when they cut it and all that. They've got methods over there that how the guitar is made is better. Like, I'm not saying you should like put it across 2 concrete blocks and stand on it, but I'm pretty sure that it would hold up better than if you did it with a Gibson. And not that you stand on your guitar, but I don't think it's going to break if you tip it over. I think it's going to stay in tune better. I think it's going to have better attack and sustain. Now, these are just, I'm just guessing about this. I'm just guessing about this guitar because, again, I haven't played it yet. But looking at the design and the kind of method that they use throughout all of their brand, I kind of have a feeling. It's like knowing that PRS fretwork is going to be perfect every time. I think there are some things about this guitar from Texas Toast Guitars that you can just pretty much count on because of how he does stuff, how him and Chris do things. And I'm just really excited about that. So that's why I can say with pretty certain, from like a lot of certainty, that it's going to be better than a Gibson. We'll see. It comes tomorrow.
And why is it coming tomorrow? Because somebody said, why no Texas Toast Dylan collab? Put Dylan's pickups in Texas Toast guitars.
We will answer that question after you handle that super chat.
All right. One question at a time.
Oh, that's from Texas Toast. It's because I put a super chat.
All right. Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for the super chat. I wonder if Chris ever thinks, Matt, what in the hell are you talking about? And Leslie has that same look on her face. I just walked right into that comment.
That is amazing. Thanks for
Matt.
Thanks for the super chat, Matt. I appreciate that very, very much.
Don't get ahead of yourself. One moment,
Oh,
please.
we have another one.
Gary Redburn, thank
you
you for the super chat. He says, I have a Challenger from Texas Toast. I love it. It is a fabulous guitar. It is better than a Gibson, hands down.
Good grief, we have another super chat. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. We will get to this question about why.
We will.
Dave.
Dastardly Dave, thanks for the super chat. Scotch Fund, rocket.
Thank you, sir.
What are you drinking? Say it really fast. Dang. Fail.
It's the scotch that I talked about a couple weeks ago that Doc told me to get. So I don't remember.
So generic.
No, it's not generic. It is not generic. Okay, so let's really quick address that before we get any more super chats. I'll try to get this in. The reason this is such a big deal is because Texas Toast is actually sending me the prototype #1 of this series of guitars that I mentioned in the news on Wednesday. And it is coming with some, I believe they said, placeholder pickups. And I actually have a set of my P90s right here ready to go into it. And so these pickups are going to go into that guitar, and I'm sure I'm going to be fully in awe of the wiring that's in there and the solder job, because Chris said that I don't have any choice but to be awed by it. And then we're going to shoot a full review. We're going to do a full... And people are going to tear it apart because they're going to be like, well, of course you think it's awesome because your pickups are in it and your pickups are going in all of those guitars that they build. Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you, and this is going to come up later. I'm not saying I never have, because you know I've run over stuff with my vehicles before. But I stopped, and I will not anymore, ever, review something unless it's something I really like. Instead of saying this thing sucks, you're just never going to hear about it from me. If it sucks, if that Texas Toast guitar gets here tomorrow,
when?
And it's terrible, you won't ever hear about it again. I doubt that's going to happen very much. But
I pulled a wire I probably shouldn't have.
Oh, no stress. No stress. Unless I really, really like something and I think it's very cool, I'm not going to review it. Ever. Like, it just will disappear. So that's how I stand on that. Because somebody said, well, of course you like PRSs now because they sent you one. No, they did not. PRS never sent me a guitar. Ever. Not one time. They did send me an email and say, we really liked your video.
And you got to be in a story.
And I got to be in their PRS stories on Instagram, which I thought was really awesome. But that was after the video was out, not before. I'd never spoken to anyone at PRS up to that point, which I thought was really, really cool of them. And I think people need to understand that there are people on YouTube who make videos about things they like and cool stuff. And not just because they're like a paid thing by a company. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I think that's hard to find still, though. Because people, this whole influencer culture, like, if you're getting things for free and or you're being sent things and or they're paying you, it comes most of the time with the assumption that you're going to give a positive review, because you've even turned down things you were interested in because that was the assumption. And it can't always be positive.
Yes. So that is correct. So, oops.
What'd you do?
I had to push a button to do something. I don't know. Please tell me if the sound is screwing up. What I was going to say is, you may hear from me at some point that I got a product from a company, but it will not be in a review. Chances are it'll be in a live stream like this. And I'll say, oh yeah, one time they sent me one of those and it wasn't very good, so I didn't review it. That is the extent of what you're going to say here. But you're never going to hear me say, like, this is really great, and you can click the link and I'll make money off of it even though it sucks. Like, I'm never ever going to do that. Like, that's the dumbest thing ever. It doesn't even make sense.
That's good, because you sound horrible like that.
I know. I can't fake it.
His face. Apparently my face.
Apparently your face?
Yeah.
Let's do these Patreon and other questions.
Sure. No.
Oh, that's a super chat. Brett's probably the first one there.
All right. Brett. When making custom pick guards, what is the best method for cutting them out?
This might be more of a Matt and Chris on Texas Toast question, because I actually don't do this here. I actually have mine made. But I'm pretty sure, well, the method I've used in the past when I used to make them is take a piece of MDF and like perfectly shape it to the pick guard that you want, and then put the pick guard material on it and route it with a pin router or a table router or even a regular hand router, but put it on a piece of MDF so that it will be perfectly shaped. And put the time into making sure that the MDF pattern that you're using, the template, is 100% perfect to what your pick guard is going to be, because that is what your pick guard will be. These days, I have a company that I can trace a pickguard out and send it to them, and for a fee, they will tool up the cost. They will tool up a pickguard for me. And then I just call them and say, hey, tool number blah, 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 blah. Can you make me this many torts, this many mint greens, this many whatever? The reason I'm bringing that up is just a little sneak peek into the future. I have had a tooling made, and I believe that stuff gets here tomorrow.
Really?
So we get to see it.
Big mail day.
Maybe tomorrow. PRS Silver Sky pickguards. They're really hard to get in the aftermarket. There are a few companies that do it, and I don't know anybody that is making like custom, like loaded pickguards with pickups and everything. The PRS Silver Sky SE right there has some prototype pickups in it. I'm not 100%. I'm about 90% on them. I want to make another set, see if I can get them a little bit better. So I'm working on that, but that is coming. We are going to make PRS SE, and I'm actually working on PRS Core pickups because they're different. They have a different shape on the bottom, which means we have to laser cut different flat work. So that's a whole nother thing. So anyway, I'm working on that stuff in the background. Great question, Brett.
All right. Sean, does the 720 neck pocket mod used on guitars with no pickguard and longer fretboards cause any setup problems regards to pickup height? Is it a mod you'd ever consider getting?
I don't care about it. What he's talking about, 720 mod is, let's see, do I have a guitar here? I don't. My red Strat has it, but it's not hanging in here. Especially like with a 22 fret fretboard, there will be like a tail hanging over the end of it, and there's always a gap between there and the fretboard. The 720 mod is the thousandths of an inch that warmth makes their neck pocket deeper so that the neck sits flat against the guitar. But it does cause issues because it changes the break angle of the strings at the bridge. It makes it more shallow. So you really should only do it with certain kinds of bridges, like a Floyd Rose, for example. It changes the geometry of the guitar, and you do have to compensate for it. And no, I don't think that it's worth doing. And I think it's an aesthetic thing, and I don't really care. So I personally wouldn't do it on anything that I am building or would own. I think the 650, it's 650, right? Neck pocket depth is fine, which is what, 5/8, whatever. Yeah. I defer to Matt and Chris on the hardcore guitar building questions anymore because we're concentrating on pickups now.
Sean, again, I don't know how to say this word. Have you heard of
Artistides? Yeah.
guitars in the Netherlands? They have developed a synthetic material they called Arium, supposedly the perfect tonal material. Knowing your disdain for tone woods, LOL, I thought this might intrigue you.
I have heard of them, and I will tell you that they are on my shorter than long list of guitars to own. I have no connection with them. I don't know anybody that has a connection with them. I have no hopes of getting one for free or getting one at a discount, and they are not cheap. They're not cheap. I really, really want one. For the purpose of owning a guitar with no wood in it. I mean, I already own one guitar with no wood in it, but that is really, really cool. And yes, I think it's amazing. Is it the same tonal characteristics of wood? I don't know. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm just going to say it. With where we are with synthetic materials and technology, there is no reason in the world why there cannot be developed a product that has the same hardness and density of a solid piece of wood. There's no reason why it can't happen, why it could not happen. They do it with everything else. They replace metals in cars. You got like plastic cylinder blocks now. Not the plastic, they're composite, but in engines. Like they measure it all for vibration. They measure it all for stiffness. They measure it all for density. They measure it all for, all those scientific things that are way more complicated than a guitar. I'm 100% sure that if an engineer did it, I don't know how cheap it would be. I don't know if it would be scalable. I have no idea about any of that stuff, but I 100% know it's possible if somebody took the time to do it. And maybe they already did. I don't know.
So the last comment was the 720?
Yeah.
That was Shane's comment, not Sean.
Oh, sorry, Shane. I must have when I copied and pasted, I must have accidentally.
Sorry about that. I only know what I can click. All right, so there are a lot of questions.
Well, let's just get rolling then.
Okay. But thanks for the call out.
Yes.
I didn't want to get your question wrong. Lucas M. Dylan, what do you think about SG offset?
SG offset. I don't know what that means.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Braden Crawley, what do you think of Fender Meteora? HH, bro.
I think.
Yeah, bro. What you think about it?
Bro, dude. Bro, dude, bro. I don't go to the gym enough for that.
Just answer the question.
Oh, yeah, the question. I think they're amazing, and I think you should get one because I think they're really cool. I would like to have a Meteora, actually.
Greg D.
I tried to buy one.
Can you tell me what the deal is with the 3 P90s and the middle phase shifting?
Middle phase shifting. Well, that would only happen if the middle pickup was out of phase.
Which means it's flipped, right?
Yeah, which means you have to flip the wires or flip the magnets, but not both. Yep.
So then somebody said, is an ESP Viper an SG offset?
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're cool. I mean, I don't want one, but I can see why people do. And what's the other one that's kind of weird like that? The Guild something that what's his name from Soundgarden? Yeah. Not Chris Cornell, but the other guy with the eyebrow.
I don't know.
Anyway, yes.
Not good on the spot. I would never be good at trivia.
Oh, this is where we need to interject another mean, stupid comment that I want to address because the guy went back in here.
Did we address specific comments?
No,
yet?
we're about to. I'm just going to work them in while I think of them.
Oh my goodness.
And then that's what's going to happen. So basically, this guy today.
You didn't screenshot?
I got it right here. So I talked about in the news that I thought the Beatles may have used a teardrop Vox. They did not. The Rolling Stones did. But they did use, what I remember is the Vox that has the funky horns on it. It's this weird looking custom Vox thing. And it was like a one-off thing that I think that George Harrison played, and I think maybe John Lennon played it too. You thought the Beatles used Vox. That's funny to me. You're just a young lad, so it's quite understandable. He edited his comment. Basically, he was like, you should know this by now because, and he says, you should care because you wouldn't be doing what you're doing if it wasn't for them. I do not. Very controversial. We're going to watch the down thumb happen right now. I do not care about the Beatles at all. They were the One Direction of the 50s and 60s. The end. They were the boy band of that time. And I'm not a fan. Never have been. Don't care. Eleanor Rigby, kind of like that song. A couple songs I kind of like. But if you're going to go Rolling Stones versus Beatles on me, I'm going Rolling Rolling Stones all the way, even though I do not know the details about all these bands because I don't really care about them. Because did you know? Because somebody's like, you should know this. I'm like, you're so young, you should know this, but you don't know this because you're so young. Because see, I'm
Valid
wearing
argument.
and I'm wearing my young watch today, so I'm only in my 20s right now. It doesn't matter how old I was because the Beatles broke up 52 years ago. I don't know if you know that or not, or if you forgot how old you are. So I thought that was those were all interesting things to learn because I had to go and do the research because I didn't know.
But you should have known.
I should have known, apparently. I don't care. Don't care.
That was funny.
That was a funny one. I thought it was hilarious.
We got a thumbs down after it.
Yeah. Because when I say I don't like the Beatles, people are like, I'm out. I guess we'll save Led Zeppelin and Allman Brothers for another episode.
Oh.
I don't want to lose all my subscribers in one shot.
Tonefish, does the SS have the same pickup in all three positions?
No. It does not on either the Silver Sky Core model or the Silver Sky SE. They are not all the same. Great question, because a lot of people wonder that because it was rumored or said or something in a video, but no, the wine count is different. The neck pickup, they're kind of the opposite, actually. Yeah, they're just different. Yeah, and they're not the same from guitar to guitar either.
So Tonefish, I'm going to go ahead and read a series of, there's at least two I know. So Tonefish, okay, you're a pickup guy. Let's talk PRS, SE, Silver Sky pickups. Yeah. Why the extra slugs? Does the Core have these?
Okay. I knew this was coming up and I was going to talk about it. That's why I was like, oh, yeah. Can we grab that super chat first? And then I'm going to grab this pickup.
You're going to remember the question?
Oh, I know, because I've got
rid of it.
I've got it right here.
Okay.
Because he was in the Texas Toast one at the very end.
Okay.
And I told him that I would talk about this.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's grab that super chat real quick.
Give me one moment. Thank you for the super chat.
Thanks,
Paul McNary. You young whippersnapper, still wet behind the ears.
I never understood what that wet behind. That's gross.
You should look up what the meaning of that is. I love to look up the meaning of things, and then I'm sometimes very much disappointed that we still use some very
probably
terrible things.
Yeah, probably not very proper.
Probably not nice, but I'm gonna look it up anyway while you talk about
Silver Sky pickup.
Somebody said what, the Beatles broke up?
That's awesome. I just don't understand why in 2022 it's not okay to not like music. Like, I don't like certain music.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, like, maybe I didn't like them, but they influenced a lot of people. You can appreciate artistry without being a fan. Absolutely.
Yes. So here's what I'll say to that. Because I'm not a huge Led Zeppelin fan, really, at all. I am not at all. I'm totally tired of the Allman Brothers.
Thank you for the super chat, Doc. I love the Beatles, but we don't have to agree on everything to be friends because we are adults. And it's okay to have likes and dislikes. Ha ha ha. Love the Stones too.
Do you think we could post that all through my comment section on YouTube? That would be great.
We're all adults.
Thank you, Doc.
But you're only
appreciate
like
that.
20-year-old
I'm only like 20.
whippersnapper.
It depends which watch I'm wearing and which hat I'm wearing.
Wet behind the ears is when a baby is born and not dried off yet. I'm going to say this is my favorite part about doing the live streams with you is I don't even have to look up stuff because somebody's going to do it for me.
I know, right?
But if you knew all the random things I have to look up, you'd be like, what is wrong with her?
My whole thing about this classic rock stuff is I 100% respect the history. When we walked around the Hard Rock Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like where I got this hat, I was literally like, what's the word? Verklempt? Isn't verklempt a word? Like when you're, like kind of on the edge of almost like being emotional because
You don't have emotions? This is
I
the funniest
mean,
thing I've ever
I
heard.
mean, I did, but it's because of the respect that I have for all these people. Even though I don't really care about the music, I care more about the story. You know. Okay, Silver Sky pickups. There's a couple very unique things about Silver Sky pickups. One is they have a radius magnets, but they don't radius magnets the same way that Fender does. They do it differently. All of the magnets are too long for the bobbin. So they stick out the bottom or the top, but they're all the same length. So look, when you're looking at the top of the magnet and it's pushed down on the outsides, it's because it's going out the bottom. When you look in the middle and it's higher, it's actually pushed up from the bottom. So it's arched on the top, but it's actually arched the same amount on the bottom, which is kind of wild. I've never seen any single coil pickups like that before. The other thing that's weird about the Silver Sky SE pickup is that you are right. There are little, and I posted a picture of this on the Dylan Talks Tone Instagram the other day. If you want to see this up close, I took a picture with a macro lens so you could see it very clearly because you probably can't see it here right now. But the magnets are here, and then there are these steel rods that go through in the middle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steel rods. And I believe what they're doing is they're doing sort of the same thing that you do with a Telecaster pickup when you put the metal plate on the bottom. Only they're doing it differently so that instead of making like a Telecaster bridge pickup makes the magnetic field kind of mushroom out on the bottom, they're actually trying to strengthen the inductance of the pickup with the little amount of cheap wire that they're using. So it's a very interesting combination of things. And overall, the pickup sounds really good. But it's definitely not, it could be better. For sure, it could be better. The Silver Sky's core ones, man, they are so good. They are so good.
Charles Wallace says, I have to clear a parking lot at work tomorrow. I need a 20-year-old watch. LOL. I might call it an early night.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. More questions?
Yeah.
Let's roll.
All right. Jim Cunningham. Is there such thing as wait a minute. How do you read that? So this isn't a super chat, but it alerts us as it is. And this was important. So thank you, Wayne Cook, for becoming a YouTube member.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, dude. Yeah, man. He hit the little join button down there, which we're going to get back into doing some members-only live streams. We kind of fell out of that.
Ooh.
So we need to do some members-only live streams where we do this, but it's for members only. So more off-topic stuff and more chill.
Apparently the word you wanted to use was from Saturday Night Live, Mike Myers bit. No? That's what everybody knows it from.
It is. Okay, back to this question.
Jim Cunningham, is there such thing as winging one size wire pickup to create an induction in a coil of smaller gauge wire like a condenser coil?
Winding. He probably...
Oh, winding? He said winging. I read it like I see it, man.
Yeah, there is. I don't know what the practical... You could do it, but I would have to think about the math behind that. The only other kind of major alternative winding method I know is like a single turn, which is what an alumitone is, with a transformer. So that's the only other kind of alternative wind I know of that I can think of right now. But that's not even what you were saying. And I don't know how practical that idea would be, actually. I'm not sure. Oh, sweet.
Thank you for the super chat, David Burkhart. He said, this is for your Beatle therapy fund. You need help, sir.
Thanks, dude. Verklempt.
Yiddish for overcome with emotion. Somebody
Bam.
just told me.
Thank you. I was actually just had it on the screen.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why we digress so much. All right, Eddie Quinones. You mentioned not vibing with Harley Benton's ethics. Is it the, quote, in-house clones at undercut prices, unquote, biz model in general, similar to pharmacies or monoprice? Is there something else specific to Harley Benton?
It is not actually specific to Harley Benton. It is, I won't ever review. So let's go back to what we talked about earlier. If it's a product I can't believe in, I'm not going to review it. So let's take that whole genre as a lump. Firefly, SX, let's see, Mitchell, which is Guitar Center's house brand, Harley Benton, which is Thoman's house brand. All of those, but Harley Benton, okay, so all of those guitars are marketed. No, they're not. Mitchell is an interesting one because Mitchell is genuinely marketed towards beginners. Harley Benton's, in my experience, I'm going to say in my experience, because mind you, we have over 1,000 videos on YouTube, which means we literally have thousands of comments. And I will tell you that out of those thousands of comments, there are probably 1,000 Harley Benton comments. And out of those comments, the folks who play Harley Benton's and comment, I'm not saying that these people don't exist, I'm just saying the ones that have commented. Of the people that play Harley Benton's that have commented, there are a handful of them who play them because they can it's all they can afford. The majority of those people play those guitars for other reasons than that. I'm trying to be nice here. There's no point in having 10 cheap guitars when you can have one good one. Unless you want to have a guitar that looks fancy hanging in the background of every wall of your house so that when you post on Instagram, there always can be a cool guitar in the background. And I just don't get down with that. I don't do that. Also, as much as people want to say, I'd like to mod my Harley Benton, what pickups do you recommend? They're not my customers. They aren't really. I'll tell you who are my customers. Epiphone people, Squire people, people that are on a path. People that are on a path to constantly improving their understanding of the musical instrument and understanding guitar tone. Those are my customers. Harley Benton people are not those people. Harley Benton are those people who are like, how many cheap guitars can I own for under $1,000? Typically, has been my experience in the comments. So I don't like to encourage that sort of mentality when it comes to educating yourself about musical instruments. I just don't, because it's not serving the art of music. It's not serving the creativity. It's like serving being cheap. So I don't really go down that road with any of those products. That's probably more to do with it than where it's made or the plant that it's made in or, you know, how much people get paid or whatever. Because I can't control that. But what I can control is how we approach our content and the type of customers that I like to attract and the type of viewers that I like to attract. And they aren't it.
Thanks for the super chat, Vish A.
Thanks, dude.
Been a watcher of your channel for a few years. Appreciate you sharing your expertise with the world. I remember one video in particular about scale links that was really well done.
Thanks, man. And I appreciate the super chat. That was a good video, too. I remember that. That was the Strat versus Les Paul one. That also has bajillions of views. Yeah. All right. Next question.
Sure. Oh, and now I tried to give myself more room, and then I can't
Buried
see.
it.
So this is two-part. So Dylan's talk. This is ZB. So
Hey, man.
Dylan talks tone. You recommend center punch humbuckers. I'm interested in some really nice hot pickups, and I think I will purchase these within the next 2 days. Can you tell me a little about the center punch humbuckers?
I can, because they're amazing. Um, they are made. We use two. I have one gauge of wire that I have made and ordered specifically for this pickup, and then we have another gauge of wire on the other bobbin, and they are wound in such a way that you get a nice mid-range poke, so it's like a real vintage sweet kind of sound, but it's hotter than that. And when you coil split it, the volume doesn't drop. And the center punch is our number one most popular humbucker. While we're talking about that, the one thing I should tell you is we will continue to do crazy little special runs. If we can sell these pickups these special run pickups that came out the other night, this week, I'm going to come out with another special run, but I'm not going to tell you what it is until these sell. So, these clear humbuckers. On our website right now, you can go to dylantalkstone.com and you can order clear DAFs in 50 millimeter only. So, you can't put it in, well, you could put it in whatever you want, but I would not recommend putting it in bridge position of a Fender style guitar because they typically need a 52 or a 53 millimeter pickup. So neck position of a Tele, fine. Neck position of a Strat, fine. Any Epiphone, any Gibson, any Epiphone Gibson style guitar, any Schecter C1, any of those kinds of things that are like a Gibson-y kind of style guitar, I have 3 left. I only have 3 left. We don't do these very often. We used to make them all the time, but we couldn't get the parts anymore. So when I can get my hands on a couple, I make a couple. And I had enough to do a few, and we only have 3 left. The other ones have already sold. So if you want to go to the website and order clear pickups, because think of how cool this looks with this wire inside the clear pickup, how cool that is. So there's 3 of them. Go get them. And then I have something really cool in store next week that I think you're going to dig. But I want to sell those first. Okay, next.
23 behind. I haven't even grabbed the most recent ones. What is... All right, let me start over because I mean to say your name. Gary Simmons. What is different in the pickup design that makes some Strat single coil pickups sound fat or warm versus bright and spanky? There seems to be a wide range of tone in Strat style pickups.
Yeah.
So the opposite from fat is bright. Anyway. Okay. Go with it. What's the difference?
Usually wine count, magnet length, and the height of the pickup. The actual height of the bob and the distance between the 2 pieces. Next.
Sean McMillan. So, if a middle P90 is reverse wound, does that give noise canceling when using bridge and middle or neck and middle?
Sean, do you mean like the one that's sitting right there that's about to go in your reverend? Yes, it does.
Wait, so it's both?
What?
He had a question. Does that give noise canceling when using bridge and middle or neck and middle?
Same. Yeah.
Both?
That's the 2. Yeah, that's the 2 notch positions.
Okay.
So yes, bridge and middle and neck and middle. Yes, 2 and 4.
Okay. Well, you said or, so it's and.
It's and both.
Okay.
Yes.
Interruption. For the super chat,
Yeah, man.
Van Shank Guitars. The clear bobbins would look cool with the purple plain enamel wire. We've done that before too.
We have done that before too. Yep.
And it does. You are correct.
It does. We don't have any of that right now.
Eddie Quinones. Dylan Talks Tone. Do you have any experience with the Zexcoil pickups or with Scott Lawing, the owner pickup designer? Interested to hear your thoughts.
Andy Fuchs really loves those things.
I remember that.
And I've played a bunch of Andy's guitars at Fuchs amplifiers. And they're really cool.
They look cool.
They look neat. They're very interesting. I've seen them all taken apart. Like he showed me the individual coils and the little circuit board in the bottom. But I have no interest in making them. And I don't. If it's a thing you want to try, I recommend you just go buy them and try them because they're their own thing for sure. Yeah. Kind of like lace sensors, they're just their own thing. They're neat.
All right. Frank Webster, multi one again.
Okay.
I knew the picture of my 2021 black stained special with P90s would make you smile. I'm still going back and forth in the decision for the center punches or the Super 8s. My question on the center punches, naturally they would sound if used as straight up humbuckers, non-splitting and all that. And these might be out of order. I know you can't answer this now, but I wonder if the unique winding for the coil splitting will not produce the tone that I want from a humbucker, hence the thoughts on the Super 8.
Okay, so here's what we did. In order for the center punch part to work, in order for the coil splitting part to work, I had to wind it a certain way. What was really cool about that is they're hotter than a DAF, which is our vintage style pickup, like our vintage style PAF. So they're hotter than that, but not very much. They're like 9.5K or something, without sounding hot because they have a sweet mid-range. So the DAF and the center punch sound very similar for like a vintage style sound. They sound very similar, but the center punch is a little bit hotter and it splits. There's a lot of people that buy center punches and don't split them. They sound great. That being said, if you're more of a high gain person and you want to use actually a hotter pickup that hits harder, like a super distortion kind of deal with more clarity, then the Super 8 is for you.
Chadwick Hurlbert. Can you make a Gibson-style mini humbucker with the output of a classic PAF while still sounding good?
It won't fit. That's why they're called mini humbuckers. Mini humbuckers sound different because they're smaller.
Douglas Kaufman. Learning to wind pickups, and I'm taking your Texas Toast workshop this May.
Oh, sweet. That means I get to meet you.
Where is the best store for pickup parts, bobbins, magnets, wire, etc.? Thank you.
Mojo Tone.
Tonefish. Okay, give me a Texas Toast 330 style with some Dylans. Where do I leave my money?
You would call Matt or email Matt at Texas Toast Guitars. There, you can go to texastoastguitars.com and get his email address. Email him and tell him what you want. Order your guitar, pay all your deposit, all that stuff, and then tell me what you want, and I will send the pickup straight to him, and he will build you a guitar, and it will happen. Yep. That's how that works.
There's so many.
Yeah, we're going to go run out of time probably tonight.
Jason B. And I think this is when you were holding up the clear bobbin, talking about pickups. But would they sound good in a Firefly?
I'm sure they'd make a Firefly sound awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Jeffrey Jacobs. Have you tried any of Reverend's P90s? And if so, how do they compare to Gibson P90s?
So Gibson P90s, are better than Reverends. So Reverends are made by Artec, which is a company in Korea, which is basically, if you get an Epiphone, it's pretty much the same plant, probably different line counts and probably different stuff, but it's made in the same place. I'm actually, that set of P90s right there is going in a Reverend, the one that's sitting on the table over here. You can't see it. It's going in Sean McMillan's Reverend, actually. And I've made a lot of P90s for Reverends. I will tell you right now, our pickups are better than Gibson's. I don't care. They are better. Ooh, which reminds me, I got another one for you today. This one's pretty good. Totally a BS comparison. In my Gibson versus my P90s comparison video when I bought my Gibson and I replaced the pickups with my P90s. Total BS comparison. The settings were far from equal. Nice job trying to make your pickups sound better than Gibson's, but if you have to use dishonest techniques, you must know your pickups don't sound as good. I don't change anything. When we do demos, we don't change anything. I don't change anything in post. And actually, I'm probably one of the few YouTube channels when we do demos that I actually don't even mess with anything. I go straight in. We do not do any mixing. We don't do any post-production at all whatsoever. Every once in a while, I will have to change the recording level so that something doesn't clip because it's louder or hotter or something, and I will note that in the video. But other than that, we don't do anything different. Don't change a thing.
Thank you for the chat.
Thanks, Thomas.
Tourville. Have fun. Know me. I'm going to say on me, maybe. I don't know.
Have fun on me.
It says know me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what next level of something you hit, but I've had to ban 3 people so far.
Nice.
Like bots, not like actual people.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, not like inappropriate
Oh,
people.
we got John too.
Thanks for the super chat. John, own 9. It was 6. Own 9 can't play any Roddy.
Holy smokes, man. Oh, yeah.
I love that he updated
because he has one of my guitars now.
Any experience with SLL Instruments guitars, considering a T-Bone to purchase, but never heard of them?
If you're going to spend that kind of money on a Telly, buy a Lucky Dog. The end of story. Period. And that's all I will say so that I don't have to say mean things about people. About guitars. I have never reviewed an LSL. And I have had them to review, and I did not.
The end.
The end.
All right. Tonefish. Is there a Dylan set 3 Strat pickups around 7 to 7.5K? No reverse wound middle.
I can totally do that. Yes. I actually do have that set. It's our Hot 5. Is that. But I usually reverse wind it. But if you put a note on the order, just order them from the website. FYI, if you're a Patreon member, you get a discount. You get 10% off. When you become a Patreon member, I give you a 10% discount, which means on a set of pickups like that, you're looking at $30 off, and it's $5 a month for Patreon, so it's kind of a no-brainer. Anyway, if you order them, just put a note on the order that says, I don't want reverse wound, reverse polarity middle, and I'll totally do it for you.
If I didn't know Jeffrey Egan, who is like literally speaking Russian on here.
You would think he was a bot?
Yeah.
He's probably trying to do it on purpose.
Maybe.
Yeah, we know.
But I've heard the story in person.
We've met Jeffrey Egan at a little meetup thing we did in Ohio, and yeah.
Oh, here we go. Super chat. Thank you for
Thanks,
the super
Sean.
chat, Sean McMillan. What's the subscriber count? Did you miss your screenshot?
Crap. I bet I did miss it. Oh, we need. Hang on. 72. I missed it.
You missed it by a lot. That's awesome. Don't unsubscribe.
Yeah, don't unsubscribe.
We'll set a new goal. Don't unsubscribe.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. Wow.
All right.
I really want to hit 100,000 this year. I really do.
Vadriel Thiel? You mentioned Illumitones. What's the deal with those? Are they any good, or is it a way for Lace to make a less expensive product?
I don't know about less expensive because there's a lot of engineering in it. We have a video, it's about 2 years old now, where we dive into how Lace Illumitones work. So you could go watch that instead of spending much time now. But it is a very cool thing. I think that guitar players in general should, this is just a suggestion, should not worry about manufacturing products cost, especially when it comes to what somebody's trying to do. If they're trying to come up with something new, it might be cheaper to make, but it doesn't matter. It's a new idea. It's cool. And people need to stop screwing around about Poplar. Poplar is fine. Next question.
GG and stuff.
That's a great question. That's a great name.
What is the difference between a neck and bridge humbucker? Thinking of putting a neck Lollartron in the bridge. In an old single pickup guitar? I don't understand the question.
So if you have a Lollartron and it's a neck one and you want to put it in the bridge, it doesn't really matter. Especially since it's only a single pickup guitar. Sometimes you need to make sure that the output is within a reasonable range, but the number doesn't always mean anything. So put it in the guitar, see if it sounds good. If it sounds good, it is good. And also spacing. Just make sure that the strings relatively line up over the screw poles, because that can vary from neck to bridge. Awesome.
Okay, I'm going to give y'all 3 more minutes to get your questions in, and then I'm not going to look at, unless it's a super chat, I'm not going to look again. So 9 o'clock, cutting off comments because we are 26 behind.
Holy smokes. Yeah, that'll take us a half hour to just get through that.
So we're cutting it off at 9 unless it's a super chat.
Okay.
This is the name that Jeffrey Egan can say. There is no way I can read this. Does bad Strat tremolo holes on top add tension, affect the tone, and cause issues?
Bad Strat tremolo holes on top. I don't know what would cause that or why that would be a problem. Yeah, unless the holes were ill-shaped or something, maybe you would break strings, but I don't know what that really means. Next.
Jesse Hicks. Should a telly have a spacer under the string tree or not, in your opinion?
It doesn't matter. As long as the angle is right and the angle is good enough to not come out of the nut. I don't use string trees. I use tapered tuning keys and no string trees. So when I build, but I don't really build anymore. So
Albert Siva, opinion on two-way humidification packs like Bavado or Diodario, fear of leakage? I've never had that issue.
I have a friend who got a guitar completely ruined by leakage and from one of those. But I think it was a fluke. I don't know what happened. It was actually Scott Terry. I don't know what happened that caused it. I never got to the bottom of it. But I like those, and I was actually going to get one for my Breedlove and put my Breedlove back in the case because I was noticing it was feeling a little funny. Yeah. I like those things.
C-string. Okay. The Beatles comment aside, which can only be attributed to ignorance, I can't believe no one's commented on the 750cc gorilla in the room. Love the shirt, Dylan. Mert Lowell rules.
Man, I'm all about some some motorbikes, and on any Sunday especially. That's funny. I'm not ignorant of the Beatles. I'm not. We have a pretty, you probably don't know this, but we have a pretty extensive vinyl collection. And in that collection, I have a bunch of pretty cool Beatles stuff. I think the classic rock stuff is more about, I just don't care about it anymore. I think I just want to hear something new. So when it comes on the radio, or it comes on Sirius, or it comes on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever, I just kind of skip over it because I'm just kind of in the mood for something different. It's not that I really dislike it, but I have never really connected with the Beatles that much, even though I have a lot of it.
Super chat from Frank Webster. Thank you for the super chat. I do not see your question, but I will be looking for it in case you couldn't get it in. So
yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Frank. Tonefish, is it me or does the no reverse wound sound different?
There is people that make a case for it, but I have done tests with people that really know what they're doing, and this is one of those things where the benefits outweigh the differences in tone. And I think what people think that things done a certain way in guitar land are always better, and they're not. They're just different. And when the different thing is different, that makes it bad. Reverse wound, reverse polarity is awesome, and the benefits outweigh any perceived tone loss because it's mostly perceived.
Doc, how's the Klon build coming? I'm wondering how hard it would be for a hack level solderer like me.
I have not done it yet. It's actually, I forgot about it, and it's in a box under my desk, and I completely forgot about it. I think, let me know in the comments below the... I tell you what, we're going to count the likes right now. We have 88 likes. Do me a favor right now.
What if they already liked it?
That's maybe fair. They already liked it. Here's what I want to do is I want to know if people think, maybe I'll make a post if people think I should do it live. Because I was thinking about doing like an extra live stream one night and literally sitting through that whole thing. And if it took 2 hours to do it, I would just sit there and do it. It would be so boring to watch, but people watch people eat. So it might be kind of cool to...
Missed the boat on that, man.
I know. I should have just ate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What I really should have did is made Minecraft videos.
Yes.
We'd be rich.
All right. Tonefish. And I saw him post this a few times, or them, I don't know who it is, where they were trying to get the audience to kind of weigh in. But so, best single coil Strat pickup. Can't say yours. I'm currently loving the gray bottom 60s Fenders. Or if it's yours, why?
So...
Dang, you need to ask for likes more often. We just got 10, boom.
I have...
So apparently you need to do whatever live.
Apparently. I have a set. You say 60s gray bottoms, and I was going to go right there. Because actually...
It could be the same.
I have a set. I like my stuff. Obviously. But stuff that's not mine, my favorite Strat pickups, I have a set of Abigail Ibarra custom shop. She did them herself a long time ago. These are actually old. 60s. I don't know if they're gray bottom. But they are the 60s staggered. They are so good. So good. Yes, they are very good.
Super chat from Gigi and stuff. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks. Word on the street. The Beatles played Harley Benton's on the albums.
That's funny.
Okay. Brett Johnson. When wiring a P90 with a separate ground for the plate, do you insulate the start and finish?
You just make sure that the start and the finish do not touch the base plate. Yes. So I guess the answer is yes. That's not how I do it, but that is, that is a thing. You got to make sure that the chassis is grounded separately from the negative of the pickup. Good question. I should do a video about that, actually. That's a good shorts video.
Jammin' Shaman, right?
Yeah.
Wooden tone would make a slight difference if you are using unpotted pickups.
No, because I'm about to do a video on this because this is another one that has come up in the comments over the last week that has been unbelievably crazy. People are like, what about hollow body guitars? What about 335s? And what about unpotted pickups? And people have asked, because I said in a video the other day that pickups are not microphones, and they are not microphones. Completely different technology, completely different application of a similar technology. That's what I'm going to say. And a microphonic pickup is a fault. It is not due to the design. It is not the pickup becomes microphonic because of a fault. If a pickup is microphonic, I'm going to do a video about it. I will address this in a video because this is a great question, and literally there are dozens and dozens of questions about it right now in the comments. Yeah, awesome.
Super chat from Spencer Smith.
Thanks, Spencer.
Thank you for the super chat. I love your channel. Such an inspiration for real. I recently got my first ever Strat. It's a 75th anniversary blue Fender Player Series Strat. 1, do you ever name your guitars? And 2, what string gauge do you mostly use?
I do not name my guitars because I'm not a namer of things. Because it's like naming a pet that you have to eat.
What?
Nobody names the pet if they're going to eat it. Like a farm animal.
You
like
don't
a chicken.
Eat pets.
No, I know, but somebody to have like a pet chicken. You're not supposed to name the pet chicken because you might eat the pet chicken and you're too connected to it. That's the way I am with the guitar stuff.
Because you're going to let it go?
Yeah, because it's going to go at some point.
Oh.
And I just don't. I only have a couple of guitars that I've had for more than...
Yeah. I mean, we don't name cars. We don't do any of that.
Because we don't get... us both.
We have attachment issues.
We don't get attached to physical things. Because life is too... You
are a physical thing with a name?
Well, that's true. Yeah. But I didn't name you. Someone else
That
did.
would be weird.
I agree. And I don't actually have a weird name for you either. Like,
why would it have to be weird?
Only if you make it weird, I guess.
Thank you for the super chat. Lantertronics Aaron Lanterman.
Tens. I play tens. Sorry, I forgot that part.
Do you think the Alumitone low impedance approach would work using active electronics for impedance matching instead of a transformer? And he said, I just watched your video on Alumitones.
I don't know. Because to be fair, I do not understand totally. I know what it does, and I know how it works. And I can visualize the circuit. I mean, I get what they're doing. But I didn't design the thing, and I have not laid up at night with a notepad trying to figure it out enough. I'm just going to say I don't know. Because you could, I guess you could design an active low impedance sort of thing. Which would, you could. But it would then take on it would be a completely other thing. it would be a completely other thing. That is a great question because I don't know. That is such a really cool technology that kind of I wish would take off, actually.
Chavez Jr. Hey, just found this channel and have been watching videos about Stratocasters.
Thanks, dude.
Can you make a video about an HH Strato, my guitar? Like your videos, learned a lot today.
We did a whole thing. Where were we? We were in, what's the jungle place? Edisto. So what month was that? September?
Edisto?
Yeah, when were we in Edisto?
Like
Or
when
was
we
that
stayed
like
there?
April?
Yeah, it was like in January or February.
Okay, so January, February 2021, we did a bunch of stuff. We did humbuckers in a Strat. We did a whole thing. It's actually a really popular video. We already did that, yeah.
Rob says, I don't know how to say his last name. Do you know how to say Rob's last name? Rob, like.
I'm sure it's Ritzenheim, but
he said Fear of Leakage is his new band name.
Fear of Leakage. That's amazing.
Josh Carter, do you have any experience with PRS's S2 McCarty 594 thin line? Thinking about picking one up soon.
I know that you won't go wrong. So I've played them, but I can't tell you enough about them. To tell you the truth, that whole side of PRS, I have never had any kind of attachment to. I've never like really gotten into it. When the S-style stuff came out, then I was in. Because I'm a Strat guy. Like, through and through since I was a kid. Have one that I've had since I was a kid. Vintage Strats, the whole deal. I'm a Strat guy. So when they came into the Strat world, I was like, now I'm kind of in. But as far as all that other stuff goes, I'm not really into it, but I know that everybody I know that has one loves it. And I know for sure that quality-wise, and if you like PRSs, you cannot go wrong. 100%.
SF, Dylan, are you going to take apart a USA PRS single coil to see how it's built?
I'm going to try to get the cover off without ruining the pickup, but I am not going to cut it apart because you cannot get those pickups. If there's any potential of ruining it, I'm not going to do it because you can't get those pickups separately. And I love that guitar too much. That's my guitar. I bought that and I'm keeping that. I love that guitar.
Dean McCaskill, thank you for the super chat.
Thanks, Dean.
Canadian super chat. He said that himself.
Sweet metric money.
I have a Les Paul Classic with 61 TNR pickups. Will you make me some 59 type PAFs? Thanks, you two.
Yes, go to the website and order DAFs. Our DAFs are our 59 PAF. And if you go do it right now, you could get a pair with clear bobbins so you could see the wire. Because I only have 3 left.
And we have another super chat from Spencer Smith. Thank you for the super chat. Which one would you turn in first? SRV, Jimi Hendrix, John Mayer, Nuno Betancourt, John, I don't know John's name.
John Frusciante?
Yep. I don't know what that means. Turn in first?
Oh, like if you had to rat on them or something?
Rat on them?
Yeah, like let's say one of them was going to get arrested. If you said something. Jimi Hendrix.
You'd rat on him?
Yeah. If one off that list, here's why. SRV is my number one biggest guitar hero of all time ever. That he is why I play guitar. Jimi Hendrix, I think, is really cool, and he was very innovative and stuff. But he was crazy, is why people liked him. I think John Mayer is a beast. I don't agree with everything he says or does, but he is a beast of a guitar player. Nuno Betancourt is another one of my massive guitar heroes because go watch him play. And maybe I'd turn in John Frusciante. I would keep Jimi Hendrix, and I would let John Frusciante go.
Okay, before we have another super chat, but Dean McCaskill that just gave the last super chat had an additional question, and he just said, what's the difference between the SE and S2?
So the S2 is made in the United States, as far as I understand. And the SE is made overseas.
Oh, he wanted... All right, here we go. Let's bring stuff back into the day. He wanted to know which one you would turn on first.
Oh, turn on first?
SRV,
Stevie
Jimi
Ray.
Hendrix,
Stevie Ray.
John Mayer.
Freaking time.
Okay.
Stevie Ray every time. Except if I had that entire list. So here's the weird part. If I had an entire list that right now on my iPod and it was like this, my iPod.
He ain't 20, y'all.
I would probably go for John Mayer right now. Because that's where my head's at lately. I'd go for John Mayer. And then second would be Nuno Bettencourt. Because I've already listened to all that other stuff so much that I could tell you, I mean, I'm a Stevie Ray nerd. John Frusciante, I don't really care about that much. John Mayer is where I'm at right now because he's a beast of a guitar player, and he's right now, and he's doing things right now.
Cool.
And Nuno Bettencourt.
So there's a lot more questions coming in. We are only taking super chats right now. We cut off questions at 9 because we're so
backed
many.
up.
If you have a question, make sure you try to get it in the video once we are not live, so that you can continue the conversation with folks. GG and stuff. What is the difference between a neck and bridge pickup? Reason. Took some fancy pants, LOL, Lars, out of one of my other guitars, and was thinking about putting the Lollartron neck from it in the bridge.
Oh, this is a re-ask.
Yeah.
This is a.
Is that more clear though? I feel like that's more detail.
Measure them with an ohm meter and see if the output is really, really different. And also hold them up next to each other and see if the spacing of one of them is longer than the other. If the spacing is the same, put it in and see what it sounds like. It'll probably be fine.
All right.
Are you having to moderate too?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Driddle, is a stacked hum canceling P90 possible?
Yes, but I will never make it. I don't do that stuff. Go ahead.
Sassy Cat, I saw an old Hamer with a single triple coil pickup. How would that work or sound?
People have been asking me to make a triple coil humbucker, and I have looked into it, and I actually kind of have the parts to do it. So maybe I should. Oh, you're using two devices. Like, that's how crazy we are right now.
Yeah, I feel like we answered that one too.
Okay.
SF, what does... Oh, shoot. Reverse round, reverse polarity mean in the middle if it's reversed, something like that.
Okay.
I accidentally clicked a button.
No worries. I'll explain to you what reverse wound, reverse polarity means. On a Stratocaster style guitar, there are 3 single coil pickups. On the middle one, if you wire it backwards, the way my pickups are is south up counterclockwise, north up magnets counterclockwise, south up counterclockwise. And then I flip the wires on the middle one so that the polarity is the opposite, but the same because the magnets and the wires, it has to be magnetically and electrically reversed. Then what happens is it works sort of like a humbucker, hum canceling wise, in positions 2 and 4. So in your neck and middle position and in your bridge and middle position. In that instance, when it's wired like that.
Okay, so this is what I was looking for because Jeffrey Egan told me how to say this person's name so I didn't botch it the next time.
Oh, okay.
He said just call her Bombzika is what it looks like.
Okay.
So I have an old Japanese Strat where a pole piece is a little bit away from the axes of the strings. the pickup is wider. Is it a big issue?
As long as it sounds okay, it's fine. If you have a dead E string, for example, then you might have to worry. But like every Fender Strat has that on the bridge position. Doesn't really match up. Sometimes they don't match up very well in the neck position either. Yeah, as long as it sounds fine, you're okay.
Jammin' Shaman, what do you know about the Seymour Duncan black back pickups Ed Roman used in his guitars?
I don't know anything about what Ed Roman used because I never paid attention on purpose.
Tonefish, but do you like Frank Sinatra?
Heck yes.
Driddle. He already asked that. Spencer Freak. Dylan. I would love to see a video about pole pieces versus rail blade style. I've never seen anyone do this yet with a nice A-B comparison.
We might be able to do that.
And
That might be on the list.
First Sergeant Richard, thank you for the super chat. He said, just want you to know this old soldier / guitar builder hobbyist really appreciates your channel. Thanks, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And thanks for the super chat. Thanks, everybody, for everything. I mean, this is awesome.
For being here, yeah.
Yeah, this is so fun. I like making the videos. It's like one of my favorite things of the week. But this is my favorite one to do. This is so fun.
It's 'cause I'm
It is. Think I want to do this by myself? This would be really hard to do by myself. You're a big
It's hard
help.
to do with two people.
I know.
Need like a production director here.
Oh, pretty soon.
Prescription Dr. Daddy. RX Dr. Daddy. I don't know what you would prefer. Why won't any YouTube influencers discuss PRS quality control issues on their $4,000 guitars that include finish fading and finish lifting?
I have discussed that in the past. I think the biggest reason is because we don't get them. I don't know about that stuff. You have to realize that a lot of the quality control issues that people see on guitars are only seen in Facebook groups and forums. And the actual volume of those issues is very, very low. And I've seen one. It was actually Scott's James Brown guitar that he bought from James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
It got like some foggy spots in it. And that's the only one I've ever seen. And I've seen lots and lots of guitars. And I have a bunch of friends that are endorsed by PRS. I've only ever seen one guitar with that problem. So I don't think it's as big of a deal as you think it is. But also, YouTubers aren't getting $4,000 guitars usually. Most of the time. At least not my size.
Matt Hobbs. The Fender Modern Player Telecaster Plus has a humbucker in the bridge position with a toggle to split the coils. It has the Tele Twang. What humbucker pickup can do that?
Center punch. For sure. For sure.
Matt. Just bought a Squier CV Starcaster.
Oh, nice.
They have wide range pickups. Are they a different size, and what would you recommend as an upgrade to those pickups?
Here's what I recommend you do. Shoot me an email. Go to the website and use the Contact Us form at the bottom. Shoot me an email, and we have a service. I guess I could turn that back on. I turned that off. We have a service where you can send the because we have a P.O. box now. Oh, that's the other thing, and I forgot to put it in the comments. We have a P.O. box for fan mail now and for sending in stuff like this. So we have a service where you can take your pickups out of your guitar and we rewind them properly, replace the magnets, and turn them into a really good pickup. So they're like a Dylan modded Squier pickup because they are a different size, because those sizes are so hard to get, etc. Go to the website, send me an email, and I'll help you get that process started, and it's not expensive. Or you can buy Lawler Regals. Those are really, really good, but they're like $250 a piece. They're really good, though.
Bill Frost. Been a while. Nice to see you all. What happened to the RV?
We got rid of the big one. We got a smaller one. We actually released a video on our other channel, Dylan and Leslie, youtube.com/Dylan and Leslie. We released another video today over there that tells you a little bit more about what's going on with the RV stuff. We are still traveling. We're still doing a bunch of stuff. We're going to Texas Toast Guitars for a month in May. But we did get a stationary place because business is so busy right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pickups on the desk right now that I need to finish tomorrow. Like, I mean, it's crazy. And we just couldn't do that in the motorhome anymore. We're just so busy. Yeah.
So, still traveling.
Still traveling, though. But just, we have a home base.
Tom Millie Music. I have a Telly and was considering your Telly Bridge style P90. How much like a P90 does it sound, or is it just a hot Telly Bridge pickup?
It is a really hot Telly Bridge pickup. It cuts more than a P90 because it's still very Telly. So take a P90 and then lean it towards a Telly. So it cuts a little more. It's like halfway between. Yeah, that was kind of the goal, though.
Brett Johnson. When wiring a P90 with a separate ground for the plate, do we answer this question?
Yeah, we already answered that question. Cool.
So what's interesting in the comments right now, folks kind of got like hung up on the moderation. Like, we need more people to moderate. One, I don't know what your expectation of that would be, like, because everybody still wants you to answer the questions. Like, there's only so many questions you can answer.
So there isn't. Let's talk about that, because I do want to address that, and I'm gonna just be super straight with you. That's what super chats are for. I don't know if you've ever been on a live stream with like a really big channel, like McKnight, but you don't get a word in edgewise if you don't use a super chat, and even then sometimes it takes him 10 minutes to get to you. So I'm very grateful that we are still, it sounds dumb to say this, but I'm very grateful that we are still small enough that we can have this much personal connection with as many people as possible. Like, it's really, really cool, but it is growing. So I'm not saying that I just want you to hit the super chat button all the time. I'm saying if it is important to you to get your question answered, you might have to start doing it, because it's not a moderation thing. It's a...
No, we want to include you all.
Right,
but
exactly.
It did literally take us 30 minutes to get through the backlog where we cut off at 9 o'clock.
Right. I said that. I was
so
like, it's going to take a half hour.
There are many that we did not get to tonight. This is probably the first time we've ever done this. But this was also a lot of people and a lot of questions, a lot of good conversation.
How many do we have on right now?
I think some folks have dropped off. But it's been very good, very interactive.
Yeah.
But, yeah, more people. I mean, it is helpful when, and we may have to do something similar to what Texas Toast is doing. Like, if you don't specify that the question is for you, I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to assume you're making conversation. I don't know what we need to do. This is the first time this has happened. So we'll have to see if it's a trend or how you need to get those questions in.
And I kind of hope it is, because I just know... That's why that's why the thumbnail was what it was tonight. I just know that there's a lot of people that are just finding us. It happens every time a new video comes out that does really well. We get more viewers, and then there are people that aren't. SS,
thank you for the super chat. Dylan, how do I do that thing where my chat sends you beer money and it's in color? And wait. Never mind. I got it.
Thanks.
We got it too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this has been the first time that this has happened where we've literally gone for an hour and a half. And to tell you the truth, I'm not going to do what Phil McKnight does and go for 2.5 hours. I don't have the gas.
Yeah. So Jughead even said, more moderators. You can only answer the same number of questions.
Mm-hmm.
You can answer. So then somebody else said, mods keep out the spam bots and bonk people off. That's what I'm here for.
She's doing that.
And YouTube is actually really good about censoring things that are inappropriate that we have to release to you. Most of the time, if it's a familiar name and it's not actually really terrible, there's some slang things that people say in conversation. We let them all through. We're not trying to censor you, but if it's a bot, then we do block them.
Yeah.
That is not the uncontrollable part.
The only time, and I'll just say this is channel wide. The only time I delete comments is when it is, I mean, if you make an off-color joke, that's one thing. But if it's blatantly racist, like super hateful towards an individual or bullying, that you're out of here. Not because I'm trying to censor you, but because I feel like we are building this community of a bunch of people that love guitar stuff, and we all want to be friends. And for those of you that have met me in person, because we get this all the time, you sound like such an ass online. As many people as have met me in person, you all know that I just want to meet as many of you as possible. Like, we would love, if it wasn't for COVID, man, we would be all over the place meeting everybody all the time in person. Even the people that say mean things. I mean, I know you don't have the balls to be like that in person. Like, you're cool. I'm sure you're cool. You just had a bad day. Your, wife didn't let you buy a guitar or something. Whatever. It's cool. I'm not mad about it. But I want that community to continue to grow. So we let everybody in unless it's really, 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 really bad.
And,
3-4 times a month.
In another world, all the rest part of my day, like, this is what I do, is chat in communities all day long. So
yeah, you moderate a forum for a living.
This is nothing new to me. Nothing new to me.
Yeah. So this is really fun. It's just, it is growing. It is growing, and I'm grateful for it. Holy smokes, man. Somebody actually, that was one of the other dumb, mean comments today.
Did you get through them all?
Oh, no. There was tons of them. But
that's what we were here for.
I mean, we could go through them really fast. Kind of funny. Shut the F up, dork. Get a real job and stop living with your mom. A, I don't live with my mom. B, why would I get a real job? That's what I was about to say. This is so fun to hang out with you guys, talk about guitar stuff, make guitar parts, and help everybody have fun playing guitar. Like, that's my job, is to help you have fun playing guitar when you get to play guitar.
And also, I know a lot of people do things like this as a hobby. This isn't a hobby.
No, this is my living. So, this is my life. This is what I do.
I don't know what get a real job means, but it is his real job. And we're okay with that.
Yeah. Somebody said, just my 2 cents, but the gear news would be great in 7 to 12 minutes. This was way too long. It's because we had like 19 stories this week. It was just too long. It was really long because there's no NAMM show. So we're getting these big releases. We talked about that stuff. Oh, a reaction video means you don't watch it first, moron. I'm just going to leave. I can't deal with people like you. If you ever watch a lot of reaction videos, they watch them ahead of time. I still captured my actual reaction to it and did a fairly good evaluation of the video. I thought it was really fun. I actually reached out to him, and he was a really cool guy. Strange that someone like you, who builds pickups for a living, claims such nonsense that pickups aren't microphones. We're going to make a video about that because that came up a bunch of times this week. In reference to Jim Lill, who made the video with the air guitar. I love how you keep making excuses for this guy's playing and technique and attributing obvious sound differences to that. Maybe you shouldn't be making pickups. Besides, no one I know has owned, much less heard of your products. They just think that you're a swarmy a-hole. Get over yourself, dude. I'm sorry you had a bad day on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever that was. So I thought that guy's a really good guitar player. And his tone was really good. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that Tom Anderson with the car was a fantastic combination. He was a really good guitar player. As far as you not hearing of us before, I know a lot of people haven't heard of our pickups before. That's why we're here. So now you have.
But what's funny is, like, how do you know your friends haven't heard of him? That means you're talking about him, which is the whole point of all of this, right?
Exactly.
It just grows organically. And if you need confirmation from your friends before you make a purchase, maybe you're here because you like it and you're like, have you heard of this dude? Oh, you haven't? I guess I can't buy it. I mean, that's silly too. Like, buy what you want.
Somebody said, because I told him it wasn't a paid promotion on the Silver Sky video because I bought the guitar myself. It's a paid promotion if you spent your own money on it. That's why you like it now for real. You got to be honest with yourself. I think that's really important to talk to people about that. So
since you paid for it, you're supposed to like it?
I guess.
I mean, if that was the case, nobody would ever have any returns. Like,
right. If I didn't like it, I would have just returned it.
That's so funny.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. That whole thing about we're just getting into reviews now. So this is going to continue to come up and we're going to continue talking about. And all we can do is hang out like this and know, so you guys know how real we are. This is literally us, man. This is like us all the time. Just hanging out.
Somebody said, tell us about you playing the acoustic underwater. That was
funny. I really thought that was going to work better than it did.
Yeah.
I really did. We staged that whole thing up. Not staged it up, but like came up with a whole plan.
And the part you don't know is
like GoPro on a stick.
Wasn't like in the immediate, planning of videos, but we were selling our house. And the pool was like part of our neighborhood. So we were like, crap, we have to make this video before we move because then we won't have a pool.
We're not going to have a pool. And do you know what else? That guitar, after I played it in the pool, it was sitting in the back of our yard sale. Like in the area where you don't sell stuff. You have the stuff that's not for sale. Because I was just going to throw it away. And somebody bought it. So funny. Anyway, awesome. We got to the bottom of the pile more or less, or did we?
No.
Are you still?
We cut it off at 9:00.
I know. I'm saying, do you still have things to say, or are we good?
No. Yeah, I appreciate everybody that's still been here to continue this part of the chat. I think it was important.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're, I don't know, people are online looking for that confirmation, and you're not going to find it everywhere. So
no, and the other thing too is the other way you can do this is you can become a YouTube member by hitting the join button, or a Patreon member. It's $5. And every week I make a post for this video. Like this morning, I made this post and I was like, does anybody have any questions for tonight? And those are the ones that made it on the screen at the beginning, and we prioritize those
every
to the
week.
top. Every week.
Yeah.
So you could ask a question every week, and it would make it on the screen, and we would give you a shout out and make sure that your question is not missed. Or you can use a super chat. Those are the ways you can guarantee it. And people will say, well, that's just a money grab. You're just trying to make money. I do not make enough money from this stream right here to even, it's not about the money. If we get $40 worth of super chats, it's not about that. What it is about is the folks that value time the same way I value time know what it means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then, so there's also a lot of people that were saying they really enjoy how candid this just got. So too, for the Patreon thing, you meet in person with them at least once a month.
Yes.
So if you like Zoom, video conference type things, and you want to hang out with Dylan for real on Zoom, where you could talk to him, not just type in your question, then join Patreon. I am not there for that.
On Sunday, we did that. So we do it. Well, actually, we changed it. We're doing it the last Monday of every month. It's the last Monday of every month. And it's usually about an hour and a half or two. There's usually about 6 or 8 people there. So it's not big. And if it got bigger, I would split it out. But It hasn't gotten that big, and it's so much fun. Usually what I do is I have a project. What I was doing was I was dressing fret ends on a neck, and we just chat. We just talk about stuff. Sometimes it's not about guitars. Most of the time it is. Answering questions. If you have a problem with a guitar, like you're like, I'm trying to figure out this wiring issue, then turn your camera on, bring it with you. We'll work on it together, like as together as we can, you know. But we have people from Hong Kong. We have people from Australia. We have people from Canada. It is so fun. So we do that once a month, and there's a level on Patreon for that too. So
yeah, and apparently all of you that have been here all this time, how long we've been going now? An hour and 40 minutes. So we're preaching to the choir, but because you're here and you're supporting us,
yes,
and we appreciate you. And Bart is here and says Patreon Zoom chats are the best.
Yeah, and it's like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning over there in Australia where she is.
Wow. That's incredible.
She's sitting up at whatever time it was the other day. It's like 105 degrees Fahrenheit, what we figured out. She don't have air conditioning or nothing. Sitting there chatting.
Are they having crazy weather there too?
Yeah, it's
like
hot.
Extremes?
It's hot.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was like super hot, 105 degrees or something Fahrenheit. She's sitting there like with no air conditioning, like roasting, hanging out, talking about guitar stuff.
I love it.
Super fun.